Hey guys, I'm Troy, and I'm currently standing in Oymyakon, Russia. You know, the place with the official record for the coldest permanently inhabited town on Earth. It's so cold here, my eyelashes are freezing solid, and if I spit, it freezes before it hits the ground. Yeah, that's how cold it gets. We're talking average winter temperatures of around negative 50 degrees Celsius. People somehow live here, but after just a few minutes, I've already got a little patch of frostnip on my cheek. At this rate, I'll be fully qualified to join the ice cube section of the freezer aisle. Ha ha ha. But seriously, how do people survive in such extreme conditions? Well, we're about to find out as I take you inside Oymyakon like you've never seen it before. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button and the notification bell too. It really helps the channel and might just keep me warm enough to finish this video. Now, let's dive into the frozen heart of Oymyakon. First things first, I must tell you that getting to Oymyakon isn't your average fun trip. It's more like signing up for a frozen expedition with a side of regret. I started off by flying into Yakutsk, the capital of the Sakha Republic in eastern Siberia, basically one of the coldest cities on Earth. From there, it was a 2-day drive along the Kolyma Highway, better known as the Road of Bones. And no, that name isn't some dramatic exaggeration. It's quite literal. The road was built by Gulag prisoners during Stalin's era, and well, many never made it out. It's not exactly the kind of route you choose for a scenic road trip, unless your idea of fun is icy landscapes and a creepy historical backstory. Anyways, the road is long, icy, and remote. I stocked up on thermal gear, engine heaters, and enough snacks to survive a minor apocalypse. Locals keep their diesel engines running 24/7 because if your car dies out here, you're basically a popsicle with a driver's license. We pass frozen rivers, abandoned trucks, and the occasional wild horse. And just when I thought I couldn't get colder, I arrived. Now that I've made it in one piece, let's talk about what life in Oymyakon is really like. From what I've witnessed so far, I think living in Oymyakon is like being inside a freezer that's actively trying to unalive you. This village has around 500 residents, and honestly, they're built differently. Here's the thing. Homes are built on stilts to keep them from melting the permafrost below, because if the ground thaws, your house doesn't just tilt, it sinks. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing your living room has become a basement. And plumbing? Yeah, that's a luxury Oymyakon doesn't really bother with. Most folks use outdoor pit toilets. Yep, even in minus 60 degrees Celsius. I decided to give it a try once, and let's just say my butt hasn't forgiven me. And heating is everything here. It's not just comfort, it's survival. A coal-fired plant runs 24/7, puffing out steam like an overworked locomotive just to keep the village alive. Every home has either a central coal heater or a trusty wood-burning stove, and locals stockpile coal and firewood like it's gold. You'll see chimneys smoking even at noon, not because anyone's trying to set a cozy vibe, but because if the fire goes out, you might too. And chatting with the locals is nearly impossible outdoors. Everyone's too busy minding their own business and trying not to freeze mid-sentence. Honestly, small talk in Oymyakon isn't, "How's the weather?" It's more like, "Let's get inside before our faces fall off." And when it comes to fashion, forget Gucci or Prada. Around here, style means reindeer fur coats, horsehide boots, and mittens so thick you could punch a bear and actually win. I mean, I wore 5 layers and still felt like a frozen chicken nugget straight out of the freezer. Meanwhile, the locals are just out here casually strolling around like it's a sunny day in Paris. These people must have antifreeze running through their veins or something. And even their daily routines are built for the cold. Schools only close when temperatures drop below minus 52 degrees Celsius. Yep, you heard that right. Kids still go to class at minus 50. When it gets that cold, pens freeze, toothpaste turns into a solid stick, and your phone gives up faster than you did on your New Year's resolutions. And yet, somehow people don't just survive here, they thrive. It's honestly mind-blowing. Now that you've seen how life in Oymyakon works, let me show you what this kind of extreme cold actually does to the human body. At minus 50 degrees and below, exposed skin doesn't stand a chance. It can freeze in just a few minutes. I learned this the hard way when I step outside with my cheek uncovered for 5 minutes. Boom, frostnip. It started with numbness, then turned into a weird burning sensation, followed by some swelling. My face ended up looking like I had lost a slap fight with the wind. Frostbite is even worse. It's when your skin and the tissue underneath actually freeze. According to what I read online in a research, it starts with frostnip and can progress to blackened, dead skin. Sounds terrifying, right? Well, that's because it is. And then there's hypothermia, the body's way of saying, I'm done. Once your core temperature drops below 35 degrees, your organs start shutting down like a laptop with a low battery. That's why locals gear up wearing goggles, scarves, and layers upon layers to protect their lungs and eyes. Oh, and do you know that rumor about your skin sticking to cold metal? Totally true. Let's just say, if you ever feel tempted to touch a frozen pole here, don't. It'll stick to your skin like superglue and tear it right off. I once saw a guy lick a metal pole here, and let's just say he's still emotionally attached to it. And get this, with this brutal cold that's practically trying to unalive you, how do people here still go about their daily lives like it's nothing? What's their secret survival hack? Let's find out.
Here in Oymyakon, a local told me that daily life isn't about fighting the cold, it's about outsmarting it. Every single routine here doubles as a survival strategy. Homes are heated non-stop with coal and wood, and there's a central heating plant that runs round the clock, puffing out steam like a Soviet-era dragon that never sleeps. If it ever stopped, the entire village would quite literally get frozen in time. And the cars here are basically living on life support. Remember how I mentioned engines don't get turned off? Ever? That's because if they do, good luck starting them again. Locals either keep their engines idling all day or thaw them with blowtorches because jumper cables don't stand a chance at minus 60 degrees C. In fact, I saw a guy lighting a fire under his truck, like some kind of Siberian barbecue. Out here, that's just how you start your morning commute. And gas stations never close, with workers rotating in 2-week shifts just to keep the fuel flowing. I asked one kid if he ever gets a snow day. He shrugged and said, only when the air hurts your face. I think that's crazy, but it makes a lot of sense. To survive outside here, I wore thermal underwear, fleece, reindeer fur, mittens thicker than my thighs, and goggles to keep my eyeballs from freezing. The locals make it look effortless, but I think I look like a confused snowman trying to find Wi-Fi. Even pens stop working. Phones die in minutes. But somehow everyone's got a system and it works. And all these led me to one question. What do people in Oymyakon eat to fuel their bodies to survive this deep freeze? That's what we're exploring next. If you're wondering what people eat in a place where farming is impossible and your refrigerator is literally the air outside, the answer is simple: meat. Lots and lots of meat. Reindeer, horse, and frozen fish are the holy trinity of Oymyakon cuisine. I tried stroganina, which is basically raw fish sliced thin and served frozen. It's kind of like sashimi if sashimi were served straight from Antarctica. Crunchy, cold, and surprisingly tasty, if you can still feel your tongue. But seriously, the diet here isn't about fine dining. It's pure survival. High-fat, high-protein meals help the body generate heat because salads don't stand a chance against minus 60 degrees C. And forget kale smoothies or quinoa bowls. This is the land of reindeer stew and fermented mare's milk, known as kumis. I give it a sip. Well, it tasted like yogurt that's been on an adventure. The locals swear by it though, and honestly, who am I to argue with people who thrive in the world's coldest village? As for fresh fruits and veggies, those are rarer than Wi-Fi out here. Most are canned, dried, or imported, and they cost a fortune. Let's just say I saw an apple that cost more than my lunch. I think eating healthy in Oymyakon could actually make you broke. That's why people here rely on preserved foods, root veggies, and whatever they can forage during the short summer months. Cooking is done over coal or wood stoves, and every household guards its firewood stash like it's pure gold. Honestly, with so little vegetation around, it might as well be. And after a day of braving the cold, nothing hits better than a steaming bowl of reindeer soup. It's basically a hug for your insides. Now that we've seen what's on the dinner table, let's take things up a notch and compare this icy village to the coldest continent on Earth, Antarctica. So, is Oymyakon the coldest place on Earth? Technically, no. That frosty crown belongs to Antarctica, which hit a bone-shattering minus 89.2 degrees C at Vostok Station. But here's a twist. Nobody actually lives there full-time. It's just scientists tucked away in heated bunkers, sipping cocoa and pretending they're fine while running experiments. Oymyakon, on the other hand, is the real deal. A living, breathing village with families, schools, barking dogs, and yes, outdoor toilets that redefine the phrase chilly experience. Antarctica might be colder, but it's a polar desert. Dry, windy, and utterly lifeless outside those research bases. Oymyakon has one good thing. It sits in a subarctic basin surrounded by mountains that trap cold air like a massive natural freezer. But here's the wild part. Unlike Antarctica, it actually warms up. In summer, temperatures here can climb to around 30 degrees C. Yup, this place goes from frostbite to sunburn without leaving the zip code. In terms of dressing, Antarctic scientists have all the high-tech luxuries: insulated domes, imported food, and gear designed by NASA. However, Oymyakon residents rely on simple reindeer fur, coal stoves, and generations of Yakut wisdom. And somehow they make it all look effortless. And let's be honest, Antarctica might be colder, but it doesn't have a gas station staffed 24/7 or a kid walking to school in minus 50 degrees C like it's no big deal. Honestly, that's a different kind of toughness. So while Antarctica holds the record, Oymyakon holds the lifestyle. Now, some of you might be wondering what my first-hand experience of the cold here feels like, and I'm going to tell you. Let me be brutally honest with you all. The cold here is the kind that slaps you awake the moment you step outside. My camera froze. My fingers went numb. My breath turned into tiny ice daggers. And yes, I almost got frostbite. Just a mild case, but my cheek puffed up like I'd lost a snowball fight to a glacier. Even blinking feels risky because your eyelashes literally freeze together. Locals wear goggles not to look cool, but to keep their eyeballs from turning into mini ice sculptures. I had to keep my phone tucked inside my coat just to convince it to turn on. And don't even think about touching metal with bare skin. Like I told you guys before, it's instant regret and a free skin donation to the Siberian winter. The air here is so dry and cold, it feels like you're inhaling powdered glass. Every breath is a gentle reminder that maybe this wasn't such a great idea. You learn fast to cover every inch of skin. Scarves, masks, mittens, layers, none of it's about fashion. It's straight up survival gear. But here's the part that blows my mind. The locals stroll around like it's a mild spring day. Kids are out playing, people are chatting occasionally in the streets, and everyone just seems unfazed. It's like they've signed a peace treaty with the cold. While meanwhile, I'm just trying not to cry, because out here, even tears freeze before they hit your cheeks. But I have to admit, spending time in Oymyakon completely changed how I think about cold and about people. This community isn't just surviving, it's thriving on resilience, tradition, and pure grit. The locals welcome me with a kind of warmth that makes you forget the thermometer's having a meltdown. They opened their homes, shared their food, and told their stories, all while casually enduring conditions that would have most of us begging for a heated blanket and a flight home. I came here expecting to freeze, and I did, physically. But I also left with something deeper: respect. Respect for human adaptability, for how culture and environment shape us, and for the incredible ways life finds a foothold even in the harshest corners of the planet. Thanks for tagging along on this icy adventure. If you enjoyed freezing your face off with me, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more adventures. And be honest, would you survive a week in Oymyakon? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Now, see you in the next adventure.